Sorry, back again, guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give you an overview of the sling range and some of the differences, and then we're going to show you how to apply a sling to someone whilst they're sitting. So you've probably all seen a sling like this one, which is, I'm not sure what brand it is, but the way that the sling's constructed, it's made of a mesh type material, which is very stretchy, and it has the leg supports which are attached by webbing, and the piece of webbing's about, so that webbing's about 70 mils long. You can see it's just tagged on there with a box stitch. So what that does with this, with the leg support here, you can see if I hold this down here and pull on that, the way that this distorts. So you can see these sides of the leg support fold up. So what that means is you end up taking the majority of the weight through this section on the sling, on the leg support, and these parts don't actually take any weight because they're outside of the line of load, so outside of that line. So the way that the leg supports are designed is they're made out of the same sort of webbing, like 50mm seatbelt webbing, polyester, but they are folded in half, and then it goes around and forms the edge of the sling, and then turns into the other leg support strap, and then comes around and then is folded out flat, like so. They undo the fold there and fold it out flat along the sling, and then they turn it into the shoulder support, and then that comes around and tags off on itself. So what that means is when you load the leg support, you put a lot of force on it, it doesn't distort at all. So that means that that stays always very flat against the resident's leg. Another thing that you might be able to determine from the video or from the presentation is that the slings are quite firm. So there's high density foam in the slings, and compared to a sling like this, which has no body in it, people would say, oh, why would you have that in there? So there's a couple of reasons. It makes it more comfortable for the person who's in the sling, because there's quite a lot of shape cut into the sling. There's a drop seam here, so it conforms to the person's body shape a little bit better in around their buttocks. And the other thing that it does, it makes the sling a lot easier to manage, so that when you can fold the sling and apply the sling with one hand. So if I hold the sling away from myself and fold that edge that way and that edge that way, I can apply that sling. I'll hold that sling with one hand. So this is a small sling, but with that, I couldn't do that with a soft sling. So it makes it really easy to apply. Some other things about the sling that I'm just going to run through as well. All of the information about the sling is on an embroidered label here. So the benefit of an embroidered label is that the information won't come off in the wash. So when a sling you're unable to read the safe working load or the manufacturer, you're meant to condemn the sling. So this extends the life of the sling, particularly in facilities, because they have quite a lot more compliance. All of the information for compliance, like serial numbers, lot numbers, who's the manufacturer, and washing instructions are on this label here, which is tucked away so that it doesn't get the mechanical action of being in the washing machine. So it tucks away nicely out of the way. And this little image here is an instruction on how to apply the sling. So that's the Molift sling. So what I'm going to do, one of the major features, the slings have a pocket on the back here, and that's not for putting your cigarettes in or your phone. It's for placing your hand in and pushing it right down into position. So this is an extra small sling. On the sizes larger than extra small, there's a pocket on the legs as well. So so you can use that to scoop underneath and place the sling under someone's legs. So this sling here that I've got in my hand is the what we'd call the regular sling, general purpose sling, and you can see that it's got quite a large aperture in the bottom of the sling. So this would be for your normal client, like normal sort of body shape, normal body tone. This one has head support. So yeah, general purpose sling, that's that one. Another one in the range for Molift is the amputee sling. So the amputee sling, similar materials, but it has a much smaller aperture in the bottom of the sling. You can see there, like it's significantly narrower. The leg supports are sculpted so that they can come around and tuck into each other like that to form a really tight cradle to prevent the person from falling through the bottom of the sling. And there's a quite decent mid-support strap with 2 buckles and non-slip fabric on the inside of it. So Molift call it an amputee sling, but when we look at the kind of clients that we see, there's a range of body shapes that we see. So if someone was very tall or very thin and they had poor tone, they don't necessarily have to be an amputee to use an amputee sling. So you could really secure somebody with the strap and the smaller aperture in the bottom of the sling to make sure that they're nice and safe when they're being hoisted. The toileting sling has the same strap, or even beefier strap around the middle than the amputee sling, because the bottom of the sling is completely open. You can see there that the aperture in the bottom of the sling is unlimited, pretty much, and you could use this sling for somebody who had good core control and wanted to do their own transfers. So they're able to put the belt on themselves, able to slide these underneath the legs by themselves, and using a Molift with power traverse, they would be able to hoist themselves out of a chair onto a bed, put the sling on and off themselves. So those are the differences in the range. So thinking about it in general purpose, amputee or toileting, you could say good core control for using the toileting sling, able to do own transfers. Poor core control or very thin, you'd use an amputee sling or the general purpose. There are also in the range from Molift a mesh sling for bathing. So it's similar to other slings in as much that it doesn't have a lot of form, but it still has the pockets on the back and on the leg rests to be able to pop it into place. And it has the same sliding loop system to be able to reposition the patient without having to do a lot of manual handling.